Have you ever wondered, why did I work so hard for so many years? Saving every penny limits spending. But when I look back, there is no such thing as real property. Or look around. You see a lot of people. They are in the same situation as me. Study properly. Stable work does not spend lavishly. But after 5 to 15 working, I can't afford to buy a small piece of land or have a significant accumulation. It's as if money is slipping through your fingers, even though I tried to hold on tight. You're not lazy, you're not trying. The problem is that most of us have never been taught how to accumulate the right way. The school teaches us to deduce the geometry of space. Newton's law. It doesn't teach us how to save, investment, or personal financial planning. My family often says, study well and everything will be fine. But no way tells you how to make money. How to make money work for you. And do so as not to live forever in the morning to go to work. Pay the debt. So we just walk into life, carrying the belief that work hard and you will have a full life. But then one day I realized, it doesn't matter how many hours a day you work. It doesn't matter how much you earn each month. If you don't have a clear strategy to manage and accumulate, money comes and goes, and we keep running in a cycle, over and over again like a hamster. Running forever but going nowhere. Real estate isn't as complicated as you might think. It's like building a house. You can't use foam to make your nails. You need every brick, every layer of cement. Build little by little over time. Today you put a brick. Another layer of mortar tomorrow. Then a year and 2 years later, you will have a solid financial home. Instead of running in the rain every time something unexpected happens, you don't have to be rich to get started. On the contrary, because they are not rich, so you need to learn how to accumulate wealth early, so as not to be passive when life waits for heaven. So in today's content, I'll share it with you. 6 sustainable heritage strategies that are not colorful. You don't have to have a lot of capital or in-depth knowledge. As long as you get it right, fucking and patiently applying step by step, you'll see your financial future take a turn. Not because of luck. It's because you know how to build a solid foundation. From now on, you don't have to change everything overnight. You just need to put the first brick in a strategy. Dual driving silent but powerful friend. Have you ever wondered? There are people who only earn an average income, but some 15 years later, they're big property owners. There are people who earn twice as much, but still struggling to the end of life. Sometimes the difference is not in salary. It's not about working harder. It's about understanding and take advantage of the power of silence. But the most remarkable in personal finance, compound interest, understand in a simple way. Compounding is the process by which it's not just profit, but that profit keeps generating more profit. So your money doesn't go in a straight line. It goes along an upward curve. The later the growth rate, the more breakthrough. Think you're planting a precious tree seed in the forest. For the first 3 years it was only a few inches tall. No one notices. No one sees any value. But by the 10th year, it rises strong. Get steady and start giving shade. Even for income if you're logging grain canopies. Interest rates are the same. It requires almost absurd patience at first. But at a certain point, you'll be amazed at what it brings. Billionaire Charlie Munger, companion of Warren Buffett. It's a classic example. In the beginning, you're not the one who started high. Is a law professor. Your income is modest compared to the financial world at the time, but instead of spending it all, he regularly takes out part to invest. Not chasing fast profits, not surfing. Be patient and let time work for you. After 40 years, he's not only rich, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. And what's interesting is, most of that money comes from the profits. Let's say you start at 23. Every month you spend $3 million. and put it into a stable investment channel. 10% yield per year. After a year, you have about 39 million. Second year you continue to invest. And the amount of interest is not only calculated on 36 million, but also on top of the 39 million available. And that process continues quietly and endlessly. By the time you're 33, you've got almost 600 million. By the age of 43, that number could exceed 1.8 billion. And if you're disciplined until you're 53, you can own almost 5 billion. A sum of money that gives you the freedom to choose retirement, change jobs, or support your family without pressure. Money is heavy on your shoulders. Of course it sounds easy. But the action is not simple. Because compound interest is a strange friend. You don't see it doing anything in the early years. Maybe you'll invest for 2 to 3 years. Then look back and find out, only a few million words. And that's when most people give up. We're used to feeling like we have to see results right away. TikTok error. Super speed. It makes us lose our capacity to wait. But with compound interest, those who wait are the winners. It's a shame that so many people are young. I missed this opportunity just because of a familiar thought. I have too little money to invest. But it's because you're young and you have little money. You need to start as soon as possible. Because time is what you have the most. It's also a factor. It cannot be bought back with any level of income. 40 years old though, they have double income. You can't go back to 23. Enjoy 17 years of profit, the two you built. That's why the mistake is not that you have less money. It's about waiting for a lot of money before you start. You don't need 50 quadrillion 100 million to invest. You just need a small amount every month. Let time prove the rest. A friend I know called high. Criticized draw per month 1 million to invest in a growth fund. At first I saw a few thousand and then a few hundred. But you don't pull out. 6 years after the accumulated amount and reinvested interest, it was enough to open a small bakery. Dreams from college. And the best part, it's not that bakery, it's that you don't need a loan. No need to apply for family capital. It just takes patience and consistency for 6 years. How about you? If you only have $1,000 left each month, what would you do with it? Are you ready to challenge yourself? Investment for 12 months. Not withdraw, not touch. And see what you learn in a year. If the answer is yes, congratulations. You've just taken the first step on your journey, sustainable heritage. And if you're wondering, remember, it doesn't take a lot of money to get started. But you'll need to start early. So, you don't need a lot of money later. Let's look at the investment every month. It's like watering a plant you plant. You can't see it getting higher every day. But if you neglect for a few months, it withers. On the contrary, if you keep quiet, one day, you'll be sitting under the shade foliage of my own patience. However, there's a condition for compound interest to work. There must be a steady flow of cash to keep the investment going. If you don't have extra cash out every month, no matter how much you understand interest, you only have theory. There's nothing to apply. And that's why we'll find out how to have multiple streams of income instead of just relying on one salary. Because if you only have one faucet and that faucet stops flowing, the compound interest seed you sow won't germinate. To multi-income strategy to build financial flows instead of just one tap. Did you know that more than 70% of people work in Vietnam today, living on a single source of income? And most of that is wages from the main job. That sounds normal, because it's true that AI doesn't live on wages. But if you look a little deeper, you'll see this is also dangerous. It's no different than standing in a one-legged chair, just a little push away from the job cuts. The economic crisis, it's your whole life you can fall on your face. Because when you only have one cash flow, that means your entire financial plan depends on a single faucet. But the faucet has known for a long time what it does. Sometimes it gets stuck. If you have a system, underground tube with many small branches, even if a branch fails, the remaining branches still help the water flow evenly. Income in this day and age. If you want to get serious, it needs to be divided into two categories. One is active income. It means you put your time and effort into it. Go to the office. I want to be a freelancer. Second is passive income, which is self-made money. You don't have to be there 24/7. As profit from dividend investment, property rental, or interest from savings. You don't have to have 10 sources of income to get started. You must have at least one source, so that if the main source crashes, you don't fall into a panic. Let's take a software engineer, for example, someone who has a stable full-time job at a technology company. Outside the main job, he spends every month a few million in blue-chip stocks. Sometimes I rented an old electric car on the weekends. I didn't use it during the week. More, you've made an investment in a private pension fund to reduce taxes and long-term accumulation. You can see he's a monster. But actually, you're building a financial river with many small flows. Each line can only yield a few 100,000, several million, but collectively, it's not just financial support. It also gives you freedom of choice. You can quit when the environment is not right. You can spend time taking care of your family without break fear. The meal. Important point, it's not that you have multiple sources of income, it's that you're ready, seeding for the next source or not. One of the biggest mistakes many people make is to spend all the energy and hopefully the main job. They think they'll try to be good. Fast salary promotion is enough. But the problem is, the job may not raise as much as you expect. Or worse, no longer exists when you need it most. And until then, good professional work, it doesn't save you from the crisis, finance. Speaking of which, you may be thinking, no one wants more income. But I don't have time. The answer is no extra time. If you know how to use the time you have, you can start with very small things. If you're in administrative work, you can get a design paper. Data processing overtime. If you are skillful, you can sell handmade goods, personal advice, online tutoring for affiliate marketing. If you have a small capital, you can try it with recurring investments. No need daily tracking. And if you have basic financial knowledge, you can start building a property, long-term profitability, like a bond index fund or an ETF fund. It all starts with a small stream of water, but as they flow, they can merge into rivers big enough to financially support your entire life. I know a friend who used to be a teacher, very low salary contract. But in my free time, she got to write articles for educational websites, start a literacy class at home and extract a small income, invest in gold. After 5 years, no one thought she had an account. Invest a few $100 million, open a small center yourself. Not because of luck, but by patiently building cash flow. And you? Are you completely dependent on a faucet, the only one not? You can think of a new income stream, small enough to start this month. If so, don't be afraid to start. You don't have to be good right away. Just start right and do it all. You're going to create a sustainable financial system. It's like a dike with many branches. In short, multiple income streams are not just a strategy for getting rich. It's a strategy not to be unexpectedly poor. But remember, making a lot of money is not guaranteed to keep the money. If you don't have a reasonable spending plan, there are a lot of people increasing their income and then increase your spending. And as a result, the end of the month is still burning like it used to be. So, we're going to analyze the thinking together. Living below ability, or in other words, save money before thinking about earning more. Boss strategy lives below capacity. Save money before thinking about earning more. You know, it's easy to live on your income. But living below income, to be able to accumulate long term, it's really an art. And not everyone can do it. Have you ever experienced this feeling? I just got paid for my house. Buy some stuff, some coffee, some nice little things. Near the end of the month, if you look at the account, there are only a few 100,000 left. Save it next month. And you'll say the same thing next month. Until a few years later, you look back. I don't understand why I work all the time, don't spend too much, and still doesn't accumulate anything. Why is that? Because most of us prioritize spending first. Save later. While the smart guy does the opposite. They save first, they spend later. Imagine that you're the operator of a levee. If the water here is money, keep pouring in as much as you let go, spend it all. Then the levee will be empty. But if you know how to retain some water, reserve from the beginning, you'll always have an undercurrent to use when the drought comes. That's the theory. It's not as difficult as you think. You just need to change a little habit. Save money as soon as you get paid. Consider it as a mandatory expense, like rent or electricity. I used to know a guy who worked in an office. 15 million salary per month. I used to spend every month on inspiration. Eat at a restaurant to buy tech. Sometimes we go on short tours to relieve stress. By the end of the month, the account is almost always on. I used to comfort myself when I was young. Live your life and earn money again. And then one day I need a deposit to buy a mini apartment. It's a plan I've been working on for a long time, but looking back after 2 years at work, you only have 4 million in your account. 7. Hope you decide to change. The next month as soon as you get paid, I check 30%. That's for to 5 million in a separate savings account, not touch. The remaining 5 million. That's the real money. It was a little tense at first, but then you adjust your habits. Less coffee in addition to cooking more than planned shopping. I can't believe it after 2 years. You've saved enough for the deposit. Before that, I thought it was impossible. Why can't so many people do it? Partly because they're waiting for the month before they can save. But the truth is, every month you think there's more, and every month is not enough. Because when you have more income, spending will also automatically increase. My soul deserves a reward for itself. It's always been the sweet trap of personal finance. So, if you get a raise of 2 million this month, you will save it. Or you'll upgrade your phone plan, buy more handbags, or sign up for a new app. I don't advocate being miserable. Eat noodles to save every penny. On the contrary, I believe you should enjoy life. But enjoy having a plan. And put long-term stability ahead of immediate satisfaction. If you want to spend comfortably and still have the property, let's reverse the process. Save before and after. Even 10%, 20% or 30% of your income as soon as you get paid. If you find it difficult, start at 5%. It is important that you build a habit, and you'll be surprised to realize living on 90% of your income is not as miserable as you think. You're just not used to it. To make it easier to do, you can open a savings account online at another bank, not connected to an ATM card. Every month we transfer it. It's like locking it up. Not seen will not be missed, will not be withdrawn. And if you have extra income, set aside 100% of your income from it to invest or save. Don't leave the money on the sidelines. It's turned into an unlimited play fund. Think of it this way. Every penny you keep today, it's a soldier you send to the financial battlefield tomorrow. The more soldiers you have, the easier it is to win. And come here. Maybe you've started to imagine a different way of life. Not life squeezing mouth. It's about living consciously, having a plan and having freedom. Because you're no longer strapped by money. But there's one thing you need to remember. Keeping money is not enough. Inflation is quietly creeping. Wear value for money every day. If you put money in an interest-free account, or just basic level savings, you're losing purchasing power without even knowing it. That's why I say After living below your means and saving regularly, you need to know how to make money. To multiply safely and reasonably. Strategy for investing yourself. The best money machine is you. People often say you can get it back if you lose money, but losing skills is losing opportunities. That sounds a little dramatic, but really, it's the most raw truth in the legacy journey. You can accumulate money, invest wisely, save discipline, but if you yourself, the root causes money not to grow, sooner or later, everything you have will wear out or stand still. Imagine that you are a software. If you're not constantly updated, you slow down. Outdated, not even compatible. I like the new operating system on the market, while other software means others. Keep learning. Skill upgrade, expand thinking. Then you still run the old version X. And sooner or later it's uninstalled from the stream of modern life. There's a little story that I love. A young accountant named Anne used to just do simple reports every day. One day, companies with large projects that require deeper data analysis, but the department doesn't have enough people, take time every night to learn Excel. Moving from private table to Power Query. 2 months later, she's assigned to manage the budget for the entire project team. 18 months later, her salary doubled. And she becomes irreplaceable in the search. So what's causing this spectacular change? Not a degree, not the boss. It's you who invested in yourself. The right skills at the right time. And have you ever thought about this? If you lose your job today, losing customers, or loss of revenue, what's the only thing left for you to pick up? Not the latest iPhone. It's not an expensive suit. It's what you've installed inside of you. Health and relationship skills thinking. There's a paradox like this. After school, many people stop learning. They've thought about it and learned enough. Now is the time to make money, not learn. And it's that kind of thinking that makes them fall behind a little bit. The market changes every month. Technology changes every week. If you don't learn, not reading books, not upgrading thinking, you'll slow down even if you don't realize it right away. Maybe you're still working, but you're no longer promoted, not chosen as a leader. There's no I inviting you to collaborate, and you wonder, I did a good job and I still stand still. No one actually punishes you. You just haven't upgraded the version. It is no longer compatible with the needs of the market. So what does investing in yourself include? The first is knowledge. Not only professional but financial. Learning critical thinking. Learn how to communicate, learn how to manage yourself. Spend at least a few hours a week listening to podcasts. Online learning. You'd be surprised if just one video, or just a page, it can also change the way you look at a problem. The second is practical skills. Skills such as writing oral presentations, coordinated Excel, Canva English, data analysis. Everything can be turned into a money-making tool if you practice deep enough. A good skill that can help you increase your income 30 to 50% within 1 to 2 years, without moving the company. The third is health. This is something that few has mentioned when it comes to legacy. But health is living. A weak body will make you less productive. Miss the opportunity, and it's worse than having to spend hundreds of millions on hospital fees. Think of every meal as an investment. Every light workout is a dividend for the future. The fourth most important thing is the relationship. You play with AI, learning from AI. Connect with AI. It will shape the way you think and act. Let's build an ecosystem around you. People who are better than you in some way. It could be a coworker who shares, the inspiring mentor, or a like-minded community. And don't forget this. Invest in yourself. It's the highest compound interest investment. Not on money, but on the chance. Job opportunities, opportunities to collaborate, opportunities to switch careers. It all comes from having the power inside you. Or not if you're still thinking about upgrading yourself. Maybe later. Ask yourself. If your boss gives you a big chance today, Do you have the skills to get it? If someone asks you to do a potential project, do you have enough resources to contribute? If the answer is uncertain, maybe it's time for you to spend some time online to start relearning what's really important. I believe that people who invest in themselves regularly is never a long 7. Never be passive in front of the gas pedal. The surprise of life. Property isn't just about money, it's about value. And there's no profitable property are as strong as you are. But there's one very important thing. You're done investing in yourself. Learn better to understand the market. But if you just let the money sit still in the payment account, you're slowing down your wealth. Because there is a power silently gnawing at your money every day. Inflation. And for that reason, we're going to explore together how to keep more from what you've earned through tax and expense optimization strategies. Strategy year. Optimal taxes and costs. Keep the money quiet. There's one thing that few young people notice. Make a lot of money. That means keeping a lot of money. And the difference between a person with a large fortune and someone with a high income lies in the ability to optimize taxes and costs. It's a silent but powerful skill. Rich people are not only good at making money, they are good at keeping money, and they keep it by being completely legal. They're not shirking their financial obligations. They know how to use the law to minimize the payoff wisely. If you're pouring water into a bucket to accumulate, you shed a lot. But if the bottom of the bucket punctures a few small holes, water will still leak out steadily, quietly, and without pity. It's taxes and personal operating expenses, invisible thighs if you can't control them. Optimal taxation doesn't mean breaking the rules or playing tricks. It's simply understanding the rules of the game to play wisely. Don't be the one who goes out on the field without reading the rules. You're going to make yourself difficult in a game. Completely transparent. I once knew a friend who worked as a designer. Income is also fine per month, about 25 million. But she put all the proceeds into her personal account. General spending with daily activities. There's no separation. At the end of the year, you're surprised when you get notified paying taxes from the governing body due to excessive transfer. And panic because there were no papers to prove it. Amount valid expenses to deduct. After that slight shock, you decide to register your own business household. Open a separate account for work. Clearly declare the collection and retention of electronic invoices. Hire an accountant online. Cheap price, only a few $100,000 per month. The result is after 6 months, you save almost 15% of your total cost. They still operate legally. Safer, and more confident when signing large contracts. Just understanding the law helped you retain a significant portion in his income. And it's not just taxes. Personal living expenses also need to be skillfully optimized. Let's sit down and list the past month. How much do you spend on small things, but very evenly, as coffee, food delivery app membership fee is not used, or 50% sales that you don't really need? Chances are you'll break out of a leak. About 1 to 2 million per month. Enough money for you to invest in stocks, to pay health insurance, or simply save up for the bigger plan. If you are thinking, no, those things don't cost much, this is a mistake that a lot of people make. And often people only regret the consequences. Like a fine for paying taxes late. Or dazed when I found out I'd spend almost 10 million a year for things I don't remember what to buy for. So are you keeping the money that's supposed to be yours, or letting it go unnoticed? A few small suggestions but big effect. Separate your personal and work accounts. This helps you manage your cash flow. And easy. Optimal expenses are reasonably deducted when reporting taxes. Take advantage of legal exemptions if you have dependents. Voluntary social insurance payments. Retirement fund you can absolutely declare to reduce the tax to be paid. Tabulating recurring expenses tracking. That sounds a little Excel. It only takes 15 minutes a week to clean. Back to the expenses. Big, small. You'll be surprised at how much money you can't find. Cutting invisible costs. Cancel the used app. Service if possible. Periodic registration with a plan. And important, don't let sales make you spend on what you don't need, just because you think you're saving. Optimal taxes and costs is to keep the money quiet. Part that if not actively kept, it'll drift away unconsciously. And the good thing is that I teaches this in the classroom. This is what you have to learn by observation, experience, and sometimes with a little financial stumbling block. So instead of waiting to be penalized to learn how to pay taxes, instead of running out of pocket, learn how to record expenses. Learn first. And you. This month, how much you can reduce unnecessary expenses. What kind of income are you leaving naked, without legal and tax optimal protection yet? Please share what you're going to change in the comments. Maybe you'll help that save a few million a year. Because in the end, rich people aren't because they're better at math than you are. It's because they keep their money longer than you do, when you know how to save money. There's one more step you can't skip. It's about protecting everything you've accumulated. Because of an unexpected event, an illness, accident, or unexpected risk could wipe out years of financial effort. And no one wants to be in a 10-year construction phase, lost in a day. Let's go to the final strategy. Strategy 6. Protect your property. Don't let an event wipe you out. There's one thing that few people talk about when they talk about property. It's not just about making money and keeping money. You have to learn how to protect your money. And yes, property protection is the ultimate strategy, but it's the armor that any serious AI has. With your financial future, everyone has to wear it. You can spend 15 hours accumulating. Invest regularly, live optimal savings spending. But if you don't have a property protection strategy, it's just a sudden shock, a health event, accident, 7 karma lawsuits are enough to wash away all the work that you've been cultivating all along. Imagine you're building a beautiful house, designed to furniture 7 premium, full facilities. But you don't put steel foundations, you don't put concrete piles, no lightning protection. Then one day the storm came. The house collapsed like a paper tent. You will regret it all your life. Personal finance also has no property protection. Everything you build will always be in a precarious state. I once knew a young man who was very good at accumulating. In 5 years at work, you've saved almost 200 million. It's a serious savings journey. Small investment, living below the ability to spend. But then your mother had a sudden stroke. No insurance, no backup plan. The full amount, saved so long to be withdrawn, in less than a week. And when things settle down again, you're almost back at the starting line. I'm not telling this story to make you nervous. It's about realizing something important. Protecting your property is a responsibility, not a fear. There are very practical ways. It's very possible for you to build a solid layer of protection for your property. And you can start today. The first is the emergency fund, cash equivalent, BA to 6 months living expenses. This is not for fun. It's so you can survive a sudden job loss, having health problems, or they have to stop their main source of income. As long as you have this fund, you don't need a hot loan, not selling the property. And most importantly, don't panic. Next is health and life insurance. Many people think they are young and healthy. But the truth is, accident or illness, no appointments with AA. You only need to spend a few $1 million a year. That's the equivalent of several cups of milk tea a month. But in exchange, you get peace of mind for yourself and your family. Especially when you're the leader, or have a family dependent on you. Even if you have started a business, investment business, or having greater ownership of assets, separation of personal property and work property. It's also very important. Don't take a risk at work dragging along personal property. Don't put it all in one basket when something happens. You have nothing to lean on. You may be thinking, are we complicating things too much? Not, because reality shows people who are financially successful never take any risks. Fell on my shoulder at random. They are prepared. They calculated first, and so they can keep going. Even if there's an unexpected event. If you're hesitant, maybe this is the time to start building steel foundations for the villa. My own finances. Because the ultimate goal of this state, it's not just the number in the account. It's about feeling safe, steady enough, strong to face any event that life throws at us. And when you've accumulated the first seeds, have sown the right way, smart investment. Keep it carefully. The most important thing right now is patience. Let the time, discipline, and good habits continue to lead the way. Believe that every little action you take today. From the emergency fund, read another book, to open an investment account, they're all helping to build a financial future, stronger and freer. So we've just been together, go through 6 sustainable heritage strategies. It's not a get-rich-quick trick. It's solid foundations that AI can also build little by little. From compound interest, a silent friend who helps your money grow every day, to income diversification, to not put your whole life on a fragile string. Learn to live below your means, because how much is important. Next is to invest in yourself. Upgrade yourself the most sustainable money-making machine. Then optimize taxes and costs to keep the money you deserve. And finally, property protection, so that one event can't sweep it all away. None of these strategies make you rich overnight. But if you practice regularly every day, every small action, every conscious financial choice is 5 years away. You'll look back and thank your current version for starting earlier, being more patient, and more intelligent. Property is not a journey of financial genius. It's the journey of those who persevere, know how to do the right thing, and repeat the right thing until it blooms. And if you're at the starting point, it's not okay. Every house is solid. It all starts with the first brick. Every river starts from a small stream. The last question for you is, where are you in these 6 strategies? And where do you start today? If this video is helpful, don't hesitate to share it with your friends, because you know, just the right strategy at the right time. It can change the life of an AI. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel or leave a comment below. I really want to know. Your journey will start from the beginning.